that time, I had forgotten to I'd forgotten to bring my pills with me to work because I would need one halfway through the day just to get me through my work day. And I forgot it. I had the worst stomach pain. It felt like somebody shoved a needle down my throat into my stomach. And like, it was terrible. Like I had to end up going home sick. And I just remember thinking like to myself, like, I need to quit. And it's crazy because I was sitting at a gas station getting gas in the middle of my lunch break at work. And um, I remember I don't know if you remember Madden 12. Remember Madden 12 with Ray Lewis?
Yep.
When the Madden fired up and he was in the locker room and he did this whole big speech and was like, um, you know, um, what was he saying? Talking about his legacy and like, how are you going to be remembered and why should you be remembered? And, you know, why shouldn't you be remembered? And, you know, leave your mark. And I remember hearing that, just getting goosebumps, like, you know, coming from that football background and like that, you know, that locker room mentality. And like, I remember like thinking like, look what you've become. Like you used to be like this Division I prospect and, you know, this athlete, and like, look at you now. Like, you know, you're 100 pounds overweight. You're addicted to drugs. You're addicted to alcohol. Um, and I remember just getting goosebumps, man. And I remember, going to work, like I said, the next day, and I was on my lunch break, and I was like, you know what, I need to hear that. I need to hear this speech again. So I hit it up on YouTube, and you know, Ray Lewis's speech, and it was actually a different motivational speech that he was doing in the locker room. And the same thing, he talks about legacy, and you know, how do you want to be remembered? You know, why should you be remembered? You know, if tomorrow's not promised, that, you know, if tomorrow wasn't promised, what would you give for today? Like, how much effort would you put in? Like, you know, everything's all about effort. And you know, you don't need talent to be successful. And you know, you can dig yourself out of any situation that you're in. And you know, what kind of beast are you going to become? And like, I felt like he was talking to me, man. Like I said, that was like my moment with God, man. That was my moment to myself. And I remember just thinking, like, I remember crying and just saying, like, I need to get the fuck off this shit. Like, I'm better than this. Like, I need to get my life together. And left that parking lot, that empty parking lot. Went home, and a few days after, kicked the painkillers and just wrote out the withdrawals and dealt with the flu-like symptoms for, you know, a week or so. And uh, ended up starting to run again. Like I said, I was super embarrassed to go back to the gym because I was so big. I didn't want anybody to see me. You know, I was kind of like hiding. And I started running, you know, just for exercise. And I remember running, you know, a half a mile from my house and like having to stop because my back and my knees and my ankles and everything hurt. And I was like, man, I got to turn back around and go home. Went back home and, you know, did it again the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. And, you know, eventually just, you know, got further and further. And, you know, I usually stopped around a mile because I thought someone my size, you know, couldn't be running and stuff like that. So for me, it was like I had never run for distance. It was
And you
always, you know,
300 at this time?
300 pounds, man, 303 pounds.
I gotta see a picture of this, man.
Oh, I got a picture. I
Yeah.
can send it to you. I
Yeah,
got the picture.
definitely.
And so anyway, ended up, you know, getting back into working out, and you know, lost a little bit of weight and got down to about 270, and worked up some courage to go back to jujitsu and walked back into the academy. And I remember like everybody's like, man, like, what have you been doing, man? You put on a lot of weight. And I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever, life. And they're like, yeah, da, da, da. So end up training again. And like I said, jujitsu has taught me the greatest life lesson, you know, is just never give up, man. And you don't have to be good the first time you do something, man. You just have to stick with it. Eventually you're going to figure it out and you're going to get better. And jiu-jitsu, it definitely changed my entire outlook on everything and how I see the world. And like I said, I started off as a white belt who just got his ass kicked all the time, who was only strong but didn't have really any other skills. And I would always look at the brown belts and the black belts and like, man, like I want to be like that one day. And everybody would tell me like, you will be like this, like, just don't quit, like keep coming back. Don't quit this time. Stick with it. Like, you know, you've already got the strength. You just got to put the time in on the mat. I promise you. And my professor ended up, you know, inviting me to train during the day with him and with all the black belts and the brown belts, and basically just got my ass kicked for months. But they taught me a lot of lessons, and they taught me a lot of, you know, a lot about jujitsu and positioning and submissions, and so I was getting my ass kicked, but at the same time, I was able to let my guard go, so I was able to learn from the mistakes I was making, so I would never be put in those positions again. And ended up getting my blue belt, and started doing tournaments, and winning gold medals at these tournaments, and like beating guys easy and winning world championships, and traveling all around California and just competing wherever I could. And I remember.
Oh, I think you went out.
Are we good?
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Okay. So I remember going to this tournament when I was actually still a white belt, and beat the first two guys super easy, and then went up against a dude who had a wrestling background. And I remember just trying to beat him with strength. And wrestlers, they wait for you to make a mistake, and they counter, and they get you. But anyway, I got so tired because I couldn't manhandle this guy, and he just basically tripped me down and laid on me for 6 minutes, and I was so tired I couldn't get up. And that was the first time I had ever lost a battle in a competition before, and like I was so like heartbroken over it. And like I remember thinking, like, I'm not taking my training serious. I'm 270 pounds, and I got my ass kicked in front of everybody. I was so embarrassed, and like holding up a silver medal, and like just looking at it like I didn't earn this fucking thing. Like I just showed up here just to show up. Like I didn't put in any real work, and I thought it was going to be easy, and it wasn't. And like that taught me a life lesson, man, right there. Like you got to get in shape. You can't be like this. You can't be big and think you can just be talented and more and stronger than everybody else. And I started watching videos on like triathletes and triathlons, and looking into the Diaz brothers, Nick and Nate Diaz, and how they train. They do jujitsu, and then they'll go run 6 miles. Then they'll go swim at night for an hour. And I'm like, this is what I need to do. I need to get down. I need to get my weight down, and I need to get back in shape. I need to start running. I need to start swimming. I need to start riding bikes again. And that's kind of where the fire was set. And from there, like I said, I would go to the gym, and every day I would go to the gym, and I would run 45 minutes on the treadmill. I'd get off, I'd ride the bike for 20 minutes. I'd get off there, I'd go to the swimming pool, I'd swim for 15 to 20 minutes, and then I'd leave there, I'd go to do jujitsu for an hour. And I was in that same cycle like six to 7 days a week, just going, same thing every day. And then I started getting back into jujitsu and into boxing and kickboxing, and mixing everything together, and going on long swims, and riding the bike, and doing all this cardio. And I just like I said, I lost a ton of weight and got my weight down to like 215 pounds.
So basically, you were doing this to get in shape, and it became a competitive nature.
Became competitive with myself. How far can I push myself?
Because like I said, I watched your journey, man. I was like, yo, this. I'm like, I mean, because you was like, again, you didn't look fat, you didn't look out of shape, but once you start putting the pictures up, I'm like, okay, you can see the difference.
Yeah, big difference.
Now, I don't want to get you killed, because I know we have been on for 2 hours. I'm talking Derek Diaz, man, and I appreciate everything. And I do want to do a part 2.
Yeah,
I do want to do a part 2, because I want to talk about now. I want to get into the transition of pushing yourself, because I think a lot of people need to hear this. You know what I mean? And I want that to be its own separate thing.
Okay.
What I want to do is I want to stop it here.
Okay.
And then we're gonna get together this week again, and I want that to be the focal point, because a lot of people need to understand, like, everything in life is hard, but what hard do you want to go after?
Yeah.
And again, watching you, and it just seemed like you just kept getting better and better. You found a good woman. You found a house. You got a house. Having a kid. Better relationship with people. And again, and you probably didn't think I was watching, but I was watching. I'm like, yo, man, this dude is doing it, watching you, train and having fun. And that's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. And that's why I am so happy to hear your story, because it's a journey.
A journey, man.
It's a journey. And I think that what people and I'm sure you can attest to is that the winning is okay, but it's the process.
It's the process, and it's all the lessons you learn along the way that are going to carry you.
Yes.
the winning, the medals. Like I said, I have a medal rack with over 100 medals on it that I've gotten over all my competition. From when I started a few years back to now, and all those medals don't mean shit without the stories behind them. And I try to tell people that each individual medal has a story behind it. And I can tell you from start to finish the entire story of how that process was put together to win that medal. And I try to instill that in all my athletes and all the people I work with, and even the people, everyday people I work with, that, you know, um, winning doesn't mean shit without the journey, man. If you're just out there just because you want to hold up a medal and flex on Instagram for a day, like, you're never going to find true happiness, man. And I've been that way before, couldn't wait to go to tournaments just so I can take a picture with a medal and have people, tell me how great I am for a day. And it didn't fulfill anything. It didn't make me feel good anytime after that. Cause I would always think back, like, what did I do wrong? Or, wasn't feeling anything. But then once I kind of slowed stuff down and I started enjoying the process and stepping outside my comfort zone and making myself do stuff that was uncomfortable along the way, that's where the mentality was built. I don't give a shit about the wins. And my professor, my jiu-jitsu professor, used to always tell me, it's not about winning or losing, it's about the journey. You never lose a battle. You never lose a battle. You either win or you learn a lesson. But if you didn't learn the lesson in either one, the battle wasn't worth it. You were there for the wrong reason. And I try to approach every day with that same mentality. I want to do my best at everything, whether it's coaching, whether it's being a husband, or a future father, or a friend, a family member. Like, I want to be the best at everything I can do from the time I open my eyes to the time I go to sleep. But I also have to remember that the journey along the day, that's going to count at the end of the day. How are you going to approach certain situations? And I try to put myself in situations that make me feel uncomfortable, because I know that's where I need to grow. Even like right now, talking to you, like, starting off this conversation, I was super nervous, didn't know what I was going to talk about, didn't know what to think of it. Like I said, I've never been on a podcast, never been interviewed, and just even like sitting here waiting for you to call me, I'm like, man, like I should just back out now. And but I know that if I back out the rest of the night, I'm going to kick myself in the ass, and tomorrow and the next day. And so I have to make sure that no matter what, even if I'm fearful or I'm nervous or this or I'm feeling vulnerable, I don't want to be vulnerable. Like, I have to do it, because it's all part of the process to ultimately making me who I am. And who I want to be and who I am today, night and day. There's so much more that I have to offer, than just being an athlete. That's, and me stepping outside of my comfort zone, that that allowed me to be a better public speaker, or a better listener, and a better, just an overall better person. And like I said, even like being uncomfortable, and it's like even being uncomfortable to being a mentor to adults who I work with and train and mentor. And I have to be vulnerable with them every day, because they have problems that they come in and they need my advice with, and I have to sit down and I have to talk to them as their equal, and talk about the situation and how they feel, and and work them through that, so that way they leave me feeling just a little bit better than when they came in. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, man, I could do this all day.
All day, man.
All day, man. I told you it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
You were gonna be good, and things are gonna be great. And I was like, wow, he let it go. So that's why, again, when you're doing a podcast, some people you gotta like kind of push, you gotta kind of guide them with questions. But I think you just was like, yo, I gotta let it all out.
Yeah.
And you could tell the passion,
Yeah.
in which you were talking. So that is what I appreciate. But I do want to have you on again, because like I said, your story is so intensive and it's so rich and extensive that one podcast won't do it. And we're going to leave it here, because our listeners, I want them to get a good package. I want them to want to come back for more.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I want to thank everyone again for tuning in
Appreciate you guys.
or something like that. Again, Derek is going to come back. We're going to do it again. And he's going to talk about, when he started his road to becoming this super triathlete. I mean, dude is all over the place, but also the process and having listeners understand that you can do it.
Yes, sir.
And when we're gonna recap from again, and I'm gonna do like a small recap of where you started and all this and so much, and I learned a lot listening to you. Because again, you would post stuff on Facebook, but just to hear what really went on into it's like wow. And again,
Yeah.
it's just really motivate and inspiring. So thank you again. So tell people where they can find you at on social media and wherever you are.
So Facebook is just my name, Derek Derek Diaz Diaz. Instagram, same thing. So Derek capital D and then Erek and then Diaz Diaz 21. So Derek Diaz 21 on Instagram. You can also find me on YouTube. So same thing, Derek Diaz 21. I have a page on there where I post a lot of like workout stuff. I meant to get the ball rolling and start doing like motivational videos and stuff. Like I said, I got so much going on. I try to post as much as I can, but like I said, just with everything going on, I've only got so much time. So you can find me on YouTube too. Like I said, it's pretty much it for that. If anybody wants to reach out or has a story they want to share with me, feel free. But yeah, Instagram, Derek Diaz 21, Facebook, Derek Diaz, YouTube, Derek Diaz 21.
All right. And that was Derek Diaz. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in. See you soon.
All right, guys.